focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks.
It's episode 26. This is the Wealth on the Beach podcast with Daniel, Alonzo, and I am your host, and I am here with the fantastic, amazing, young star in financial services. Her name is Lylah Reyes, and she's from San Diego, California. She was a former pharmacy student at USD, started at 19 in financial services, and she really started because she wanted to help her mom pay off $40,000 in debt. Her first 9 months in business, though, she made $40,000 part-time while having 17 units as a student. Track record, man. Think about what she did, okay? And we're gonna talk a little bit more about this, but man, at 21 years old, she became a regional vice president. At 23, she was already making almost $100,000 a year. At 25, well over $100,000. At 27, over $200,000. Young woman, come on, man. In the real world, y'all know that women get paid less than men, okay? Statistically speaking. And she defied all the odds and all the stereotypes and all the everything. And at currently at about $400,000 in income. There'll be over $500,000 in income by June. She has a family partnership with her mom and her brother, who all wear rings, or all over $100,000 earners. She would describe herself as an introvert, a little shy, and she runs one of the largest offices in the San Diego area. Loves to travel, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But you tell me, why is this an amazing time to be a woman in business?
Well, Daniel, I'm so excited to be here. I've always thought that women of today, they just want it all. They want to be able to have a six-figure income career, at the same time have a family life. And so if you think about it, I grew up with families that make women, nurses, med techs, pharmacists. My aunt's a pharmacist that makes a six-figure income, but they're never home. They leave really early. They come home really late. And don't get me wrong, they have an amazing lifestyle, the big houses, the nice cars, the private college education. They just had no time for their kids. And so growing up, I knew that I wanted a six-figure income, but I wanted freedom. And so I believe the generation today, we want a six-figure income or more, because I believe to live in a life here in the United States of America, you got to make a six-figure income. You can't have a real quality of life if you don't have a six-figure income. We just don't want to work 16-hour shifts. We just don't want to be locked in, to work holidays and work weekends. We want to have the freedom, but we want to have the six-figure income as well, Daniel. So today, I think it's so timely that, what we do is so important, because it gives us that chance as a woman.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're right, because you live in San Diego. So,
yeah.
No doubt about it, in San Diego, I mean, if you're not making $100,000 a year, if you're not making $200,000 a year, right, it's very difficult to live. So totally. Things are very, very expensive. And so Lylah, tell me a little bit about your childhood. How'd you grow up? What was it like being a kid in San Diego? And look, a kid of immigrant parents, what was it like growing up like you grew up?
Well, since my parents are immigrants, they came here to the United States because it's a land of opportunity. So they always tell us growing up that we're going to give you everything that we never got in life. And so, it was always about getting good grades. I remember in high school, I was supposed to get a B+. And I begged, I cried to my chemistry teacher. I could not go home and show my parents a B+, because that was failure, right? And so I did whatever my chemistry teacher told me to do to just get an A-. That's how competitive growing up with my mom and dad was. And so, ever since we were little, we had ballet lessons, swimming lessons, tennis lessons, flute lessons, name it. Anything that could keep us occupied with our time. So we would not have time to go outside and just play with friends or play video games. I remember my brother didn't get his first Nintendo until he was like high school, right? And, so that was the environment we grew up, Daniel. We grew up with a very competitive mom. It's not, she always told us, you're not just going to dance ballet, you're going to be the best in your class. And I remember, honestly, trying out for the Nutcracker, for Clara, the part, right, of the Nutcracker. And I just thought, oh my God, there's just no way I can get it because everybody else looked so much better. They stretched more, their stretching ability was just so much more better than I was. They looked the part, they looked like Clara. And I remember my mom pulled me aside and said, you're going to get it. You're going to give it all you got. Right. And it's so true. The way you do one thing when you're a little kid is the way you do everything in life. And I remember I just psyched myself up after that talk with my mom, gave it all my got. And then when they finally announced who Clara was and they said my name, oh my God, I was like crying in tears because I knew, Daniel, I just gave it all I got. And so, that was the kind of childhood that we were brought up. Very competitive, very achiever. And that was, the mom that we had.
That's awesome, man. Great freaking parents, man. And so when did your mom or when did your parents, when did they go into business? Like, when did that start and how did that start for them?
So I remember we lived in Spain for about 4.5 years. My mom, and dad, we moved here to San Diego. My father retired from the military. So I remember they bought their first house and, my mom and dad are very frugal, very amazing savers. And I remember my mom and dad literally sitting down and telling themselves they've been here since 1969. Like, how come they don't have, so much more money saved up? They couldn't figure it out because they were saving and saving and saving, but it was still not growing. And so my mom said, where do like rich people save? And I remember her going to La Jolla, right? Going into a Merrill Lynch building and just wanted some information. And they said, you're going to have to invest this amount of money, like huge sums, I think so over 50,000. And my mom said, even though she has it, she's just not going to take it and just dump it there because she doesn't know how it works. And so, one of my dad's shipmates actually invited them to a meeting and said, oh my God, this is what we've been waiting for. I want to learn how to do this. And my mom worked for Abbott Medical. My dad worked for the VA Medical Center. So they knew nothing about financial services, but they knew they had to learn how to make their money work for them. So my mom literally said, hire me. I want to learn how to do this. And she always says, I want to do this for my kids. I want to learn this for my kids. And that's when it started. I was 12 years old. My brother was 9 when she saw Primerica and became a client.
So 12 years old, man. So watching your mom for 6 years, right? So for 6 years, you watched her. You were one of those little kids that used to be in the back of the op room, right? Playing with your toys or playing with your friend, maybe not little toys, but playing with your friends and the different little, kids in the back or whatever. I mean, how did that impact you because you were a kid in business. I mean, how did that impact you?
Well, the rule of 72, most people, when they're young, they memorize like songs or TV shows. We memorize the rule of 72. So that's all we were brought up, And so literally at that age, we could explain the rule of 72. At the same time, honestly, it showed us things like how to save money. It showed us things like work ethic, because my mom was still working at that time for Abbott Medical Laboratories. So she showed us how she was working 8 hours and she still went to something to get better. So it showed us commitment. It showed us structure. It showed us excitement, because I remember they would come home from work and they'd be tired, or she loved what she did, but she didn't like her boss. I remember she came home and she got a 45 cents pay raise and a Carl's Jr. coupon. And I remember her complaining about a job. And then she taking us to the meeting. Everything was exciting. Everything was about winning. So I said, man, job, she feels bad all the time. She complains. Or Primerica, exciting, winning, competitive. We just saw the difference. And so literally, my brother Vince and I, we never had a job. Because we knew early on we didn't want to have that kind of life. And so, we're so fortunate that we got to go to those meetings. It really molds. And so when people say, like, I don't want to take my kids or my kids won't be interested, that's so not true. It's not what you say, it's what you do. We really, we're really your copycats, we really copy what you do.
So you watched your mom work so hard, be so focused, really, make progress. And you're thinking, that's fun. I mean, that looks fun to me. That looks exciting to me. It doesn't look like, I see all these people at jobs, man, they hate their jobs, they're depressed, they're on antidepressants, they're like hating life, they're always stressed out, they're never happy about anything, they're always complaining about the job, they're complaining about their coworkers, they're complaining about the money they make. And versus being in business and you're going, now, I mean, business is not like all, sunshine and rainbows, but the truth is, at least in business, you can control your life a little bit better. Instead of allowing a job to control your life, now you say, hey man, if I want to make more money, guess what? I work harder. I get more focused. I do what I need to do, right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. One of the things I love about being in business and being an entrepreneur is you really get paid what you're worth. So I tell people, if you're lazy, like being an entrepreneur is probably just not for you. You need to be at a job. But if you know that you are worth more than $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour, $100 an hour, even doctors and dentists that get paid like $250 an hour, man, coming into, this type of industry where you're an entrepreneur, the free enterprise system, you could be literally worth 1,000. Was that an appointment last night? Help the family get properly protected, an hour, $1,000? Come on, that you are getting paid what you're worth. And that's what I love about Primerica. It's a truth teller, Daniel, total truth teller.
So it'll expose you for all your good, but it'll also expose the hell out of you for all your bad, right?
Yeah.
And so totally, man. I get it. So aside from, obviously your parents were your mentors, those are your first mentors. Did you ever have another mentor? Like, who was another mentor that you had that, looking back, they were just somebody you really looked at and kind of followed what they were doing and that they inspired you early on? Did you have anybody like that?
Yeah. So one of the biggest women leaders in our industry is obviously Cheryl Bartlett. And so she, in anything that you do, I always believe having a mentor is important, but I always believe having a mentor that you can mirror and match is key. So I remember when I first started working with Cheryl, she has short hair. I cut my hair super short, like boy cut short, right? And I remember she would teach us the basic things about business, handshake, the way you dress. I remember I didn't even own a blazer at that time, and she was always wearing blazers. And so I borrowed all my dad's blazers, right? And so just the way we talk in business, because I'm really, shy. I'm a really shy introvert person. When I am called on to perform, when I'm called on, even when I was little to, have a recital, the best in me comes out. But by nature, I'm very introverted. I'm very shy. It takes a while for me to warm up. So I remember Cheryl, we would go to events and she would have builder schools, or we would go to a company trip and I'd literally be just in my chair and she would push me and help me get started. And so just to learn all those 2mm golden tips on how to act and how to deal with other individuals that you want to surround yourself, because I was intimidated. I'm not a conversationer starter type of individual. So she showed me all those basic, winning tips just to be able to go ahead and put myself in that type of environment. So definitely Cheryl Bartlett, just mirrored and matched. Whatever she said, I said, you know, and so when you copycat individuals that you want to become, you become that, you know. And so that's one of the great things about, you know, continuously learning. Like I learn a lot from you, you know, just because you're very simple in the way you teach things, right? It's not hard to copy you, right? You know, so Cheryl, you, and the reason being I say that is because you know, when you're looking for a mentor, you want to be able to emulate what they do exactly. Because if you do what they do, you're going to get what they get. And so I always look for mentors that were just simple to copy. Because if I could copy them and I could borrow what they say or how they look, right, how they perform. I remember we got back from your event. I watched your videos over and over, and I see how you carry yourself on stage and how you position yourself on stage. And I study stuff like that. So when I'm on stage, you know, I'm able to do the exact same thing. I remember when I first started, I would talk super fast, and I would literally have to practice so I can go ahead and enunciate and learn how to speak clearly and slowly, things like that. That's what mentors are for. They will tell you what you want to hear, what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
And I think that people underestimate the power of having somebody teach them what to do. And look, I was the same way as you were with my mentor. I figured, look, man, they already made it. Why not just do what they're doing? Like, why overcomplicate it? Why do I gotta try to reinvent the wheel? Why don't I just do what they're doing, learn what they're learning? Now, again, you tweak it, you make it your own. I mean, you know, I don't want to be like the person exactly 100%.
Right.
But I do want to take the good and leave the bad.
Right.
So and I think also what a lot of people don't understand is that you have to gravitate towards power. And what I mean by that is that you have to find people in power positions, and build relationships with those people. And everybody underestimates that, Lylah. They don't understand that you got to put yourself in environments with people in power positions and befriend these people. Because these people want to push people up. And so I found a mentor that, you know, he wanted to push me up. And next thing I know, the entire company knew who I was. People were coming to me for advice, which generated a lot of credibility to me and my brand. Next thing you know, I had people coming to me that wanted to be in business with me. And it also made my teams that I was already building and made them more excited to be working with me. So underestimation of people in power and building relationships, huge, gigantic mistakes that people are making. Let me ask you this. What would you say, I mean, when you think about, you know, meeting people and building relationships and creating those lasting relationships that you can build a business with, because obviously we're in the recruiting and training people business. What's a way that you would say is a great way to meet people and build relationships with people?
Obviously in the world that we live in, we have big events. And so the best thing to in order for you to meet them is really just go up to them. And Daniel, you know, that's the hardest part, because people, like I said, are very intimidated. They feel like that person might not take time, you know, and so really just putting yourself in that kind of position. The events, you know, social media is a great one. Because it's faster and easier. So, you know, I remember there's a time where I was texting different individuals in the company to do videos for me to help out my team, because, you know, maybe they're good in one area or they deal with a different market, you know, so things of that sort. Guys, you know, there's a great scripture, right? Ask and you shall receive. seek and you shall find. Success ain't gonna come to you. You gotta go after success. And so, social media is the fastest way, most effective way, I believe. Just it takes one text, one messenger, Facebook Messenger message to somebody that you want to get to know or ask questions. You are great. I heard from my whole entire organization, when they message you, you answer every single one. That's why they love asking you questions, it's because of that, and I think people all too often think that people that are $1 million earners or they're making great success in their business, they're always busy. No, they're not busy. And one of the great success characteristics of people that are in that kind of level is they really want people to ask them questions. I feel so special when people ask me questions, right? And so don't get intimidated. Put yourself in that environment. Friend every single person. One of the things I do, I would go to Daniel Alonzo's Facebook friends and I would just friend everybody there, because then you get to see what they do, how their lifestyle is, where they hang out, like what do they say, what do they think. Even a quote can make a difference. Them posting a quote makes a difference, and then you messaging them and say, hey man, that was just an amazing, I needed that today. And that kind of conversation, I'm going to tell you, that's just a starter. So that's the appetizer to it. So events, social media, there's just so much out there, Daniel.
Yeah, building relationships and making new friends, for 22 years or for 20 years, all we were doing was meeting people face to face. People go to the mall, they go to the restaurants, they pick up business cards. All that stuff works. It's just that we're in a new era today. There's a whole nother way to skin a cat now. Right. And again, people are making the mistake. They're staying in the dinosaur age of the world and technology, and they're going to miss out. I promise you, you mark my words. Y'all are going to listen to this podcast again 10 years from now, and that you're going to be sad that you didn't heed my warning that technology is taking over the world. It's just the way it is. You have to build relationships through technology. And ultimately, what's going to happen, Lylah, is you're going to have people like the guy last night text me through, DM'd me through Instagram and said, hey, look, I'm coming down to your office tonight. Right. I want to meet you. Yep. I want to go into business with you. And I said, right on, come on down. I met him, ended up getting him on board with me. Yep. Next thing you know, the guy could be $100,000 earner. You don't know. Yep. So it's just like this happens every single month to me. Yeah. But it's only because I'm posting content. Yeah. I'm answering back everybody's messages. And by the way, I'm giving away my information freely. I'm telling everybody everything I know. I'm giving it away all for free, man. Everything I know, I'm giving it away. And so the value that I'm bringing to the table is so big that people eventually, they want to reward you. You can't put out to the world forever and not get back. It's just not the way the law of attraction works. So, so look, you get it, and I know you get it. So tell me real quick. I want to get into a little bit. Has there ever been any tough times for you? Tell me about the tough times and what were they like, and what did you do to overcome them?
So I think in the industry we're in, the toughest thing, what we do is so simple. It took me 6 months to learn what we do and get really good at it. It's not that hard once you really put your time, your effort, your discipline, and really knowing your craft and knowing your skill. It took me 6 months, guys, just 6 months to really get good at what we do. I think the biggest challenge in what we do is obviously the people, dealing with different kinds of people. In the beginning, you get hurt, your emotions get hurt, your feelings get hurt, your emotions are so high. And I'm an A by nature, so I react quickly. And when you're not matured yet in the business, you might be matured because you're over 18, but you're not yet matured in business. You take things personally, you overreact, you react too quickly. So one of the things I learned, and guys, it's just a process. You're going to go through that. I mean, there's just no way around it, you know. And I think people, you know, take leaving our industry personally. Guys, people leave their faith, people leave their marriages, people leave their kids, people leave their church, they leave their jobs. Primerica is no different, you know. And so number one, you have to have that law of acceptance. You have to accept that people are just going to quit. That's just naturally the evolution of what we do and how everything is here on earth, right? We leave this earth. One day we're not going to be at this earth. That's how it is. But the emotional reaction was hard for me, obviously. So I really had to learn. And it's just over time that you're going to build that tough skin, that mental toughness, you know, and then you're going to know how to not react. Because I was quick to react, quick to anger, quick to get emotional. So I really had to self-develop. I really had to read a book and apply what it is in the book, because it's hard to change habits. It really is, because you could read a book and it doesn't mean it's going to change your habit. You might have the knowledge of what, you know, you just read, but to actually implement it, like people say it's easy to quit smoking, it's easy to quit drinking. No, it's not. It's hard for the individual. So really takes that self-discipline, but the first step is really knowing that there has to be a change. And so Daniel, I had to really know which battles to fight, because not all battles need to be fought. I had to choose my battles. That was the thing. And number two, anytime I've learned, anytime that any type of issue or crisis comes up, especially dealing with people, I got to give it 24 hours. That was my rule, 24-hour rule, to just let it pass, because it too shall pass. And you don't want to see something you don't want to say at that moment. So that was a hard lesson for me to learn. I would lose people like crazy just because I would like want to pin them and, you know, crucify them for what they've done. But I realized you don't want to do that in business, because our inventory.
Hey, man, I'll tell you,
distribution.
you're not the only one, man. I'm serious. I've been in business for 22 years. I still can't get this shit right, man. I still blow it from time to time. And so we're all getting better. I just want to remind everybody, this is the Wealth on the Beach podcast with Daniel Alonzo, here with the amazing Lylah Reyes, young, motivated woman in business. And she gives us all the hope to know that anything is possible. I mean, coming from, you know, immigrant parents, started, you know, she learned about business at 12 years old, never had a job, because she always knew that going into business and being an entrepreneur was going to give her her best hope for freedom and choices and options. And let me ask you this. What's your favorite book?
Oh my gosh, I have a lot of favorite books. I think one of the things, like I said, I was talking about a while ago, is our emotions. And so the utmost, I don't know if you've read the book, The Utmost. And so what it is anytime you have any type of feeling, because in this business, it's all about feelings and how people feel towards you. So it's a book that says, like, if you feel anger, if you feel sad, if you feel frustrated, it actually has all these affirmations. Because sometimes, you know, we're not used to affirmations. We're used to, like, you know, being so hard on ourselves. Like, we're fat. The first thing we say is we're fat. Like, my hair's not done properly, or my cheeks are so, I was doing the videos, like, my cheeks are so big. You always think of that, right? That's the first thing. It's so human nature. So it takes extreme power. So anytime I've had any type of feeling, because guys, we're human. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be disappointed. That's just part of the journey. The Utmost book actually has all these little subtitles. And anytime you feel anything like that, it gives you 10 affirmations. And after that, I actually have one in my car, one in my purse. I have one in my iPad, one on the side of my table, because I am a feeling type of individual. So I need that to be able to go ahead and say, oh, let me read it, and then you get through it. So that's my favorite book.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, we're gonna kind of role play a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna do a little quick role play with you, and I want to know how you would answer these questions, okay, or these objections, you know, because people give objections. They're like, you know, they're scared. Everybody's scared to make a move because and by the way, objections are just procrastination, man.
Right.
I mean, once you get the information and you know what you're supposed to do and you know it can change your life, my advice to people out there right now, just freaking do it, man. Just do it and figure out the shit later, man. But these are some of the objections that we get. I want you to try to think about some of these things. All right, so the first one is, I don't have a good education. I don't think I could do business because I don't have a good education.
So I would say, if somebody had said to me, I don't have a good education, and I would say like, well, what did you actually study in school? Okay, biology. Okay, so the stuff that you studied in school, like cells or, you know, just different topics of biology. Do you actually use it in real life? Can you actually buy something with that type of education? No. So the great thing about America is we teach you everything that you know. It's a turnkey system. So my question to you is, if I could go ahead and hold your hand, teach you everything that you know, make you feel comfortable in the information, make you comfortable in applying that application and show you successes along the way, is there any reason why you wouldn't at least give an attempt to try to learn what we do, if it's going to change your life?
Love it, love it, love it. So good, so good. You know what? I'm just so busy right now. I don't have enough time, Lylah. I got the kids and this and that and everything. What do I do?
You know, in today's world, I understand. We all don't have time, especially living in the United States of America. You know, I realize that time goes by so quick. So it's not really having not enough time. It's really actually knowing what to do with your time. So let me ask you, Daniel, if I can show you how to put together a proper time management schedule, because that's actually a skill in itself, to be able to go ahead and do everything that you need to do, but still put $2,000 to $3,000 a month back into your pocket so you can save something more for your retirement or for your kids. Would you be willing to go ahead and sit down with me and listen how we can put together that schedule?
I would absolutely do that. Fantastic.
Perfect. Let's do it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Hey, man, you know, I think it's great being in business, but, you know, right now, man, the economy's bad, and I don't think this is the right time for me to go into business.
So the economy is bad. That's definitely not going to change. That the economy goes through its cycle, but really, you know, our goals and dreams are not going to change. Would you agree, Daniel? Right? So if we can put you in a position where you work for an industry and a company, that it really doesn't matter how the economy looks, because it doesn't matter, you know, if the market is up or the market is down. That doesn't actually, you know, phase America, you know, but we can go ahead and help you achieve your goals and dreams, right? And you know, you feel comfortable, because that's what's most important. Because I always tell people that when you have that type of objection or that type of area of concern, it's not really that area of concern. It's really that you don't know how you're going to go ahead and do it with that type of, you know, concern. So if we can make you feel comfortable and you can get all the facts, and we could go ahead and put $2,000 to $3,000 back into your pocket, because honestly, that's what you really want, right, Daniel, is to get out of debt and save money for the future. Would you be open-minded to taking a look at how we could do that?
Yeah, sure. I'd take a look at it. Absolutely. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Fantastic, man. And then I'm gonna throw one at you, because, you know, this is kind of a little bit of because you're in an industry, you're in a business that talks a lot about money, you know, and it's like, it's financial services. They talk a lot about money. They talk a lot about getting wealthy and living this lifestyle and things like that. And, you know, but somebody might come up to you and say, well, you know what, Lylah, money is the root of all evil, man. You know, I'm just not into like that kind of stuff. And all you talk about is money, and all you're thinking about is money. How do you respond to somebody that might tell you money is the root of all evil, and that's just not something I want to be a part of?
Well, I would ask them, well, Daniel, do you work right now? You work right now, right, Daniel? You do. So why do you work? Do you work for free, or do you work because of money?
Money.
You work because of money. Why do you work for money? Because you have what to pay. You got mortgage to pay, bills to pay. So obviously you work for money. So Daniel, you work for money. You just get paid $3,000 a month when you work for money, right? Working 160 hours a month. I work for my money, but I work less hours and make like 20 times more than you do. So my question is, right, if you have bills and I have bills and you work for money and I work for money, if I can show you where you can work less hours so you can spend more time not working for money and spend more time with your family and kids and your church, because that's what's more important to you, not money, not job and a money, because your job and your money is taking up all your hours working for money. If I can show you how to do that, where you can work less hours, get paid more, and spend more time with your church, because that's what you want, your kids and your family, will you be open-minded to taking a look at what we do? Because Daniel, I always believe this meeting happens for a reason. It's not because of anything. It's because the higher power is listening to your prayers, and the higher power just brought me to help you so you can spend more time at your church. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. That is gold. Listen, everybody, this is Lylah Reyes. Listen to me. She knows her shit. That's for sure, man. So unbelievable, awesome stuff. And let me tell you something. I mean, from immigrant parents, competitive achiever, started shy. So look, you got no excuse. If you're shy out there, you have no excuse. Once you know the words, and this is what's like, you're listening to her right now and you're going, she's confident, she's awesome, she's amazing, she knows her stuff, she's got it down. Well, look, that's just because she practiced. That's because she got trained. She learned this stuff. She didn't wake up at 12 years old and knew all this stuff. She learned. She took years and years to master her craft. That's why she's good. And that's why she's confident. So you know what you need to do is you need to get confident, and you need to master your craft and then duplicate it and teach it and show other people how to do it as well. So look, I mean, learn from mentors. She was a big time copycat. Same thing with me. I was a copycat. I mean, in school, I got in trouble for copying. So when I got into business, everybody said, go copy. And I was, fired up about that. Big events are important. Her favorite book was The Utmost, and what an amazing life she's been able to live. Check this out. Last question here, Lylah. What's been one of those things that you've accomplished in your life that you're most proud of?
The great thing about being an entrepreneur is every single year you could have an accomplishment. Every single month you could have an accomplishment. You can have a milestone. Literally, it's in the palm of your hands. But I think one of the biggest achievements, if you were to ask me, is I always say this to my significant other. I could die today, Daniel, and I gave it all I got. I was able to free my dad from corporate America at 55. I was able to help my mom do the exact same thing. My brother went to 4.5 years of college, University of Arizona, no financial aid, no student loan. He's never had to pay for a car. We live in a beautiful home. So I could, as a daughter of the higher power of God, as a daughter for, my parents, as a sister for my brother, as a leader for my team, I literally could die today and say I gave it all I got, that I did not leave anything on the table, that my family, whether here in the Philippines, they can have a life that they want because they can call me and, and whatever they need, they get. There is such they say money is not everything. It is when you can give. You can't give when you don't have money, you have so many more options. And so, everything from whatever my mom or my family wanted in life, I delivered every single time. So whatever mom wants, she gets. Whatever my family wants, she gets. And that to me is so worth it now. All the tears and buckets of tears in my first 6 years, because I thought, man, is this really for me? It seems so hard. People are quitting. I'm getting rejected. All of those dark moments that you thought was like game over, man, it's so much more victorious today, because now you are so free to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. And money and time has no hold over you, has no handcuff over you. You are gone. Slavery is gone because of what we do.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Thank you so much. Hey, Lylah, so look, there are people right now, there are young women, there are young men, there are lots of different people that they're listening to this right now and they're saying, hey, man, I like her. And I think that she is the type of person that I'd like to be in business with. She's the kind of person that I'd like to get mentorship from. She's the kind of person that I would like to emulate in my future. And there are people thinking that right now. And so how can they get a hold of you? How can they connect with you personally? How do we do that?
Well, I'm on all forms of social media. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, at Lylah Reyes. And then my number is 619-721-8320. We have the biggest office in San Diego, 8,000 square foot building. You'll never miss our building in San Diego. It has a big Primerica sign. So people usually can find me, but at Lylah Reyes, that's LYLAHREYES. And Daniel, one thing I wanted to say is that most people, especially our generation of today, they grew up living in a box. Like they live in the same place, the same house, the same everything, and nothing has changed. I just want to challenge everybody that's on this podcast that you got to live life to the fullest, that there's a world out there. There are countries out there that you only read in books, that you only see on TV, that you have a shot to go live. See, I believe that you have to have a balanced life. You got to work hard, you got to play hard, and you got to live life. To live is to travel, is for me. And so that is just the renewed energy I have right now, guys, to make an impact, that it is worth to make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000, and then visit countries that you've never, ever been before to learn how their culture is. Man, it's just so fulfilled. It's just the best fulfillment ever, is to get out of that box, to fly to places you would never literally think. And you know what? People think it costs money. Guys, there are ways to do that. People think like, I don't have time. Guys, there's a way to get out of that. Get into business for yourself. That's when you'll have freedom of time and freedom of money. Take that risk. Because, the last 5 months, last 2 months, Daniel, we've had now actually 7 deaths. 7. And I've been to every single funeral. And I'm going to tell you, you can't take back time. And majority of those people, if not all 7, they just live to work and pay a bill. Guys, there's so much more to life than that. I challenge you to get out of that box and live life to the fullest.
Hey, everybody, this is incredible. Thank you, Lylah, for being on with us today. I just want to remind everybody that we're signing people up every day on the Wealth on the Beach Club. Every week I do a full hour lesson, and then I actually do a half an hour lesson and a half an hour Q&A. Check out our new website, alonzoacademy.com, for more details. Go in the product section. And of course, please subscribe to all my new YouTube channel. I revamped it. Tons of more free content. And then of course, follow me on Instagram and Facebook and all that good stuff. Look, I'm here to help you. Like Lylah talked about, I answer every DM. I want to serve, I want to give value, and I want to, in some way, whether it be big or small, change your life. I wish you guys all the best. I hope that you dream bigger than ever, but make sure that you do it now. God bless you. We'll see you at the top.